Okay. Okay, so I have got everything set up so far, and I am now working on running through, making sure everything is good on the sound. And so far, it looks like everything is working. I just have to check the audio and everything. This is another episode of the Cosmic Weave, so just so you guys know. Let me go to my channel page on Beam and see if the audio sounds good. Audio sounds good on Beam. And hit refresh on Rumble. See what that. There we go. Sounds good on Rumble. And now we have it on X. I gotta see what that sounds like. Sounds good on X. DLive is up and running. DLive sounds good. Twitch is up and running. Sounds good. All right, we have Kick. Kick didn't work yesterday, but I'm glad that I was on. Yes, I'm glad it's running now and it sounds good. All right. Now we have YouTube up. So everything seems to be working in good order. This is the second episode to my new stream series. It's called the Cosmic Weave, and I am going to start this in 5 minutes. This is just me, so I'm going to try to actually put an intro and ending outro on this video during a live stream, which I was going to try to do last week, but I got the first part done, the introduction, but I forgot to do it at the end, so I apologize about that. I will hopefully remember to do that today and try to make this a little bit better. But with that, I'm going to step away real quick, go smoke a cigarette, drink a coffee, or get some coffee, and be ready for the show. So let me go ahead and put a song on for you, and then after that, I will go into the beginning of the show. So I'll be right back. Let me see what we got here. I'll do Like a Ninja from Mr. Robot. Like a Ninja. Hopefully I don't get in trouble.
Eclipse, I stalk the concrete veins. Cloaked in chaos, art of war, blood courses through my veins. Suns who whisper, strike like thunder, crush them where they stand. Blades auroric, I dissect the weak with bare hands. Shuriken tongues, split your jugular, lyrics ricochet. Invisible like midnight fog, then poof, I'm in your face. You think you're armored, nah, I slip through cracks like smoke. One slice, your empire chokes. Checkmate, this is war I spoke. I phase through your defenses. Feed your ego to the crows, no mercy, no repentance. You'll never see me coming, just the shadow where I stood. A flicker, then your kingdom's drowned in ash and brotherhood. I am the storm in the silence, blazed in the fire of 1,000 suns. Violence, be my samurai, loyalty or demise. Cross me once, meet the reaper staring through my eyes. I cut through the night like a banshee. Steel kisses cold too late, you're already dead. My shadow's the last thing you'll see as I leave your head. Wars, I design a map, your doom in ink. Faint left, then vanish, watch your ranks collapse, you blink. Appear weak, then break their spine, Sun Tzu's my scripture. Drip venom in your veins, let doubt fester like a stricture. Ninjato flow, split your ego into confetti. You're spitting flames, I'm the void, suffocate, no oxygen petty. Ambush in the cipher, strike from trenches of your mind. Leave your carcass as a warning, mess with gods, get blind. Cadence crash through your barricades. Turn your pride to ruin, salt the earth where your flag laid. I'm the unseen plague. The moon's eclipse, I stalk the concrete veins. Cloaked in chaos, art of war, blood courses through my veins. Sun Tzu whispers strike like thunder, crush them where they stand. Blades auroric, I dissect the weak with bare hands. Shuriken tongues split your jug, your lyrics ricochet. Invisible like midnight fog, then poof, I'm in your face. You think you're armored, nah, I slip through cracks like smoke. One slice, your empire chokes. Checkmate, this is war I spoke. I phase through your defenses, feed your ego to the crows, no mercy, no repentance. You'll never see me coming, just the shadow where I stood. A flicker, then your kingdom's drowned in ash and brotherhood. I am the storm in the silence, blazed in the fire of 1,000 suns. Violence, be my samurai, loyalty or demise. Cross me once, meet the reaper staring through my eyes. I cut through the night like a banshee. Steel kisses cold as the tundra. Pray your gods can teach me. Need your protection, too late, you're already dead. My shadow's the last thing you'll see as I leave your head. Wars, I design a map, your doom in ink. Faint left, then vanish, watch your ranks collapse, you blink. Appear weak, then break their spine, Sun Tzu's my scripture. Drip venom in your veins, let doubt fester like a stricture. Ninjato flow, split your ego into confetti. You're spitting flames, I'm the void, suffocate, no oxygen petty. Ambush in the cipher, strike from trenches of your mind. Leave your carcass as a warning, mess with gods, get blind. Cadence crash through your barricades. Turn your pride to ruin, salt the earth where your flag laid. I'm the unseen plague.
Okay, I am back. This is the second episode of the Cosmic Weave, and I thank everybody for coming to listen to my next episode. I have everything up and ready to go. Today, I am going into the second part. Now, at first, I was going to maybe pull up a couple of things that I discussed from my last episode for like a little bit of a recap, but things kind of got swamped for me today. Um, I I'm running a little short on memory on my computer, so I had to make sure I had uploads going on to Rumble while um, doing uh, this. So getting it all set up for the stream. So that kind of pressed me for time, but that's fine anyhow because that was more towards the scientific approach to what I'm bringing up here, which is the cosmic weave. This is a series that involves uh, research that I've been doing since I started doing live streams. Not live streams actually, just content. Since I've been doing all this stuff with my original channel called The Strange, the Bizarre, the Unusual. I like it. Now it's called Strange Stories. Um, and now, as you can tell, I'm on the wonderful world of weirdness too. But all this information is just research that I've been doing from the get go, from the beginning. And I started out by talking about some things that concern the human brain or mind, or the brain, basically. And now I'm going to be switching off from there for this episode, and we're going to talk about the primal beginnings. This goes back to, well, towards the ancient primordial beliefs that started before even Egypt was around. These are old beliefs that I've run into and I've put together throughout the years, and this is what I've come up with. So the second episode is going to be about primordial beginnings. So, with that, I am going to go ahead and start part one of this one, which is actually the second episode. But when it comes to the primordial, this is where I started out. So, I hope you guys enjoy. And with that, I will take a drink of my coffee and I will get on to the topic. I hope you enjoy. Okay. Before there were stars, planets, light, and time itself, there was an endless void, a vast nothingness, where the universe slumbered, waiting for that spark to awaken it. That was a time when space and time were indistinguishable. However, there was a single constant force, the formless, timeless essence of what would later be. Wait, hold on a minute. Of what would later. Okay, hold on a minute. I've got to make sure of something. Yeah, I was almost going to make a mistake. Let me get back to this. Endless void. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Before time, there were stars, planets, light, and time itself. Before there were stars, planets, light, and time itself. There was an endless void, a vast nothingness, where the universe slumbered, waiting for that spark to awaken it. This was a time when space and time were indistinguishable. However, there was a single constant force, the formless, timeless essence of what would later become creation, destruction, and transformation. A cosmic energy existed in perfect tension between the opposing forces of life and death. Every possibility, every form of life that could be created, and every structure that could be dismantled resided here. It was the building block of existence, but also its unfolding. From it, entire galaxies would later be born, only to collapse again into dust. In this place, the universe had not yet found its rhythm, but within its heart, it simmered, waiting for the moment when it could emerge to shape what we would eventually call reality. Eventually, from it would manifest the foul odors of decay and rot, the decomposition of water-based organic matter, breaking down compounds into simpler substances. The putrescence of this water compound transformed and degraded materials. This was the process of putrefaction, putrefaction, or organic matter decomposed within this water-rich environment. Chaos existed in its formless state before creation, and from these waters of creation, raw material emerged, bringing forth life. Creation began through the vast formless void of chaos, which contained the potential for all existence, a chaotic fluid state of unformed matter that would eventually form earth, water, and all the desires of mankind. Ordered cosmos arose through decay in the process of transmutation. From these beginnings, a purified state of new life emerged. From formless decayed matter within the endless void, fertile mud from primordial waters gave rise to life. Dissolution within these chaotic waters became a medium for transformation. The decomposition before regeneration of this fertile mud from the primordial waters eventually led to the creation of higher forms. From the interactions of these elements arose the element of wind, and from this the creation of earth, air, fire, and water, eventually leading to life. The cyclical nature of putrescence and rebirth occurred through flux and transformation of the waters. From this primordial mud, the Axis Mundi was also born, linking different realms, the primordial waters of the void, earth, and the celestial power of divine realms. Chaos preceded structured reality, where putrescence led to rebirth. In the lower realms of the Axis Mundi remained the endless primordial void with its fertile mud from the primordial waters of creation, a state of dissolution before transformation, undefined, formless, and decomposing. Excuse me. From this realm, the Axis Mundi began to reach into the heavens, first by growing its foundation of roots out of decay and putrefaction, but eventually ascending into the higher realms. A cycle of destruction led to rebirth, a bridge between the chaotic decay of the primordial and the divine enlightenment of the heavens. The journey of the soul through the Axis Mundi, which unites all realms, achieved its ultimate transformation. Once before there were stars, planets, and even time. Deep within the dark void, an ancient force began to stir. Rising from the depths of this vast nothingness, the primordial waters of creation began to churn in chaotic waves. It longed to be shaped, given form, but it also resisted, fearing the order that would be imposed upon it. Forms began to shimmer with the colors of the universe, reflecting the endless expanse of creation. The light of the cosmos, illuminated in primordial energy that flowed through the axis Mundi. Bodies wove through the void with grand designs and intricate patterns. The heat of 1,000 suns flickered with the energy of creation, while the force of life ignited the spark of consciousness in the universe, bringing stars to life. Ice created stillness, the force of order and preservation, shimmering with a soft blue glow. This was to be the fire of creation in the cold embrace of destruction. From the sacrificed being, the animal gave life to create new to create this cosmic bridge. Okay, let me start that over again. From the sacrificed being, the animal gave life to create this cosmic bridge of the axis Mundi. Death and decay led to new transformations. Primordial chaos gave rise to order. Decay birthed creation, and the animal sacrifice generated the bridge of the axis Mundi between realms. Through love and strife, flux and transformation, the cyclical nature of putrescence and rebirth resonated. Through the decay of decomposition of water-based organic materials, which often resulted in the breakdown of compounds into simpler substances, the first body or structure from the primordial mud gave birth to the world. A cosmic being was sacrificed and dismembered to create the world as and the universe itself. This included each realm, multiple worlds or layers of existence within the axis Mundi. This also suggested an ascent of the soul, where base matter was purified through trials, and the axis Mundi served as a passage between realms to test transformation. This journey began in the primordial mud from which life emerged, then through chaos, where order had to be carved from the formless void and blackened through petrification before rebirth. Emerging from these primordial depths, stronger and wiser, passing through the cycle of death and rebirth. Just as putrescence is necessary for new life, the soul seemed to climb towards the heavenly divine for spiritual enlightenment, encountering primordial darkness to break down the ego, then returning with wisdom and final enlightenment. It is believed that accessing theta brainwave states allows for deeper introspective, creativity, healing, and spiritual knowledge. It grants a better understanding or enlightenment from the void, a deep cosmic state, and divine creation. Theta represents the axis Mundi, the source of everything, and embodies the primal force of existence that transcends ordinary experiences. Theta, or the axis Mundi, delineates the complexities of time into an algorithm of computational theory, indicating the asymptotic behavior of the algorithm, where runtime grows at a specific rate relative to input size. Theta, or the axis Mundi, whichever term is preferred, constitutes death, the afterlife, and the passage of the soul into another realm within the axis Mundi. The cycle represents the world, the cosmos, and eternity, signifying wholeness, unity, and an infinite existence without beginning or end. It symbolizes completeness and the infinite, the cosmos in its totality. The soul of the world was created from the axis Mundi into harmonious, ordered perfection, a divine form with eternal qualities. The cosmic perfection of ordered cycles, where the heavens and stars move in circular orbits in divine motion, a cosmic roll, and an orderly, continuous completion of unity within the universe. This was cyclical. This was cyclical, as was life, with birth, death, and rebirth, as well as the world itself, where as well as the world. No, hold up. Time was cyclical, as was life, where birth, death, and rebirth, as well as the world itself, were constantly renewed. The eternal cycle of life and the world's recurring rebirth, with everything interconnected and perpetually transformed within the framework of an eternal rhythm of divine completeness. The soul of the world and the universe, the divine source governing the order of the cosmos, the absolute, unknowable forces that bind the universe together. A world in perfect equilibrium, both physically and metaphysically, harmonizing the material and spiritual worlds. The physical world was part of a greater cosmic and divine plan. In numerology, the vibration of zero carries an intrinsic meaning that amplifies qualities. It builds relationships that are not just personal, but also communal and spiritual. The presence of each zero in numerology intensifies energies, granting heightened spiritual significance. Zero represents divine guidance, infinite potential, and cosmic energy, urging trust in universal flow, divine timing, and faith in the journey. Zero is an enhancer in numerology, amplifying core numbers. It suggests leadership, new beginnings, and a far-reaching influence. It can indicate spiritual or divine dimensions, hinting at unlimited potential within a cosmic framework. The repeated presence of zeros suggests vast, untapped energy, accessible through meditation, introspection, and spiritual practices. It symbolizes the infinite, the void, and untapped potential, both the beginning and the end, the Alpha and Omega. It represents spiritual journeys and deeper callings. Here the primordial begins to take shape, twisting and coiling from the cosmic mass. Faint outlines emerge. Stars, planets, galaxies, all forming within the void. Tides of the cosmic ebb and flow, transforming the primordial. transforming the primordial mud of creation and destruction into the very fabric of existence. A new order arises out of the out arises, one that embraces chaos and allows for infinite possibilities within this once chaotic, formless mass. The essence of transformation itself is born. Now, that is the second part of the Cosmic Weave that I wanted to read. Now, this right here is some stuff, a lot of stuff that I had actually done some research on. Now, I put it all together, and I came up with this first part, and there's more to it that comes, but this is dealing with primordial forces. These are things that a lot of people don't hear about. This it relates to old belief systems that go all the way back into Indo-European beliefs that actually is part of pretty much every religion, every belief system. It connects all of them, and you'll see bits and pieces of it spread out all over the world. It doesn't matter if we're talking about Indo-European beliefs, if we're talking about the Semitic beliefs. It doesn't matter if it's in Asia, in Germany, in the United States here with the Native Americans. You can find this information somewhere within your belief system. And I believe that by itself is pretty strange on its own. The fact that you can see this pretty much everywhere, all over the world at different time periods in history. This isn't just like before even Egypt. I mean, this is stuff that's within ancient Egyptian belief systems. You can find it in Babylonian traditions. You can find it in Judaic traditions. It's everywhere. The Phoenicians, especially the Phoenicians, we had just done a huge series on all of it, and that is some of the stuff that I've been doing a lot of intense research on in the last year almost. That and duality. Like I said in my previous episode, a lot of this stuff I couldn't make the connection with it until I finally figured out what duality was. You know what I mean? And I had to learn that there was a difference between dualism and duality. I don't know for sure if I mentioned what they were in the first one, but I'll say it again. You know, duality or dualism is when two opposing forces are in conflict, fighting against one another. Whereas duality is where you have two opposing forces that accompany one another. And when you take a look at life, and you look at it from the perspective of duality, you understand that there's birth and then there's death. Now, birth and death don't conflict with one another because no matter what, birth is there. Everybody's born, everybody dies, and that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? The duality aspect of good and evil would be that without good, there would be no evil. Just like without evil, there would be no good. With dualism, it would be good versus evil. You know what I mean? And like when it comes to things like evil, first of all, what is evil? Well, if you go back to the original concept of what evil was, a lot of these ancient religions viewed evil as being chaos. It wasn't like, you know, horrible, sinful things like murder and stuff like that, like we think of it as today. It was just chaos. And you'll see that in a lot of these traditions where they describe evil as being chaos, and g- good, you know, the divine had to do with order. It had to do with orderly structure. Um, so that was something that really stood out to me. So with duality, that's what cleared up a lot of that stuff, you know. And I took a look at a lot of things that have happened in history. Like you take a look at these tsunamis that's gone through, and they've devastated entire freaking countries and stuff. And yeah, that is horrible stuff. But you look at the results of it, okay, after it was done, you know, when one human being reaches out to help another one. In the middle of all this chaos and all of this destruction, there's people that pull together and help one another. There's people from outside of the chaos that comes in to give to volunteer to help these people. You know, so you have all of this good stuff that's coming out of this chaos. And when situations like that happens, you always see the chaos when it comes to the media and when it comes to stuff like that and all this horrible stuff that's happened. But they don't focus as much on the people who are there in the chaos and actually trying to help people, you know. So you don't really get an idea of the duality of the whole situation and what's taking place there. So that really helped me when it comes to that idea of what duality is versus what dualism is. Um, and I did find that pretty good. It was an eye opener. A lot of this with the primordial ooze. Now this is something that I have always been interested in, and especially when it comes to creation, waiting for that spark to awaken. You know what I mean? To awaken um, stars and planets and light and time itself. That's always been interesting to me when it comes to this spark, because there are people who want to know where we came from and things of that nature. And when it comes to this spark, I think of time when it comes to like humans being on this planet. You know, the amount of time that we have been supposedly we've been on this planet. The amount of time where we actually was able to, you know, progress as humans and do all of the things that we've done is just a little speck in that time frame. Um, we within this short time period, which is long to us, don't get me wrong, it is a lot of time when it comes to what we know as time. You know what I mean? But in the whole time period that we've been on this planet, it's just a little bitty speck in the amount of time. In this short period of time, we've learned how to grow crops. We've learned how to freaking domesticate animals. We've created societies that have been able to invent things like cars, trucks, jet airplanes. We've got rocket ships that are going up into outer space, satellites that rotate around our planet. And this happened within a short period of time. And to me, I feel that there has to have been a spark that awoken something within us that caused us to where we could actually start going in that direction. Because according to what's been told to us, we've been just animals that have been running around hunting and gathering, and that was basically it. And that was for the majority of the time that humans have been on this planet. Um, and when I started this, that was one of the things that really I really wanted to get into and start kind of doing research on, and it brought me to this point right here. The cosmic energy that existed in perfect tension between two opposing forces, which was life and death. It's that perfect tension, that duality. Um, Now that was the thing that really really stuck out to me, and then I also wanted to talk about like creation itself. Whenever the whenever reality was actually created, I believe that it encompassed everything. It encompassed the thoughts within our minds, the dreams that we have at night. It encompassed the amount of data that's stored in rocks or the stream that flows down a mountain. You know, all of this is reality. It's raw material that's been converted into structured material, reality, and things of that nature. so so that was one thing that really did stick out to me, and I thought that would be a good direction to take with this, where when it comes to every possibility, every form of life, that can ever be created, or every structure that could ever be dismantled. Um, it resided, you know, here, uh, in this uh, well, in this primordial void, basically. You know what I mean? This is where it was all created. So that was something that I really did enjoy getting into and discussing, and I'm really enjoying doing this, to be honest with you, because it's helping me out on a lot of things that I've been wanting to put down. Um, and it does have a lot to do. Everything is connected with one another. You can say what you want. I'm okay with it, but like when it comes to like the human mind and the human brain, how we freaking think, the actual physical structure of the human brain. If we take that and we look at it from uh, not just scientific aspects, but look at it from ancient mystical belief systems, and um, the way that things just actually work, it starts making sense. And then you start stepping out of your box, and you look at it from a different direction, and you start seeing that not only um, does it have to do with like this ancient mysticism, it also has to do with things like duality and equilibrium and things of that nature. Now, equilibrium is something that I am going to be getting into in the next few episodes. I have already done one episode when it comes to the human brain. Now, this next one, when I get that one going, it's going to go back into the human brain, and I'm going to be discussing that a little bit more. I'll be switching in and out. Now, the majority of the information for about the first 3, maybe 4 episodes is all going to be about the information that I've pulled together with my research. But as time goes, because I want to do 12 videos of this, I'm wanting it to be more or less of the research and more of me writing, what I'm pulling out of this information, and it'll be a lot less um, analytical. Is basically the best way of saying it. So let me go through and find out if anybody said anything. I do not know. No. The only bad thing about DLive is they don't give you timestamps on when somebody's made a post. That's the only thing that drives me nuts. All right. Now, so far, it doesn't look like I have any kind of response. I got 2 views on Kick. I want to apologize to anybody who was on here yesterday that wasn't able to watch on Kick. I had some issues that had taken place where I couldn't stream on there for some reason. But we have comments from Raj Ram. He says, "Good evening, my brother, and I'm grateful for this channel. And we're grateful that you're here too, but thanks for showing up for the last episode and for this one as well." He goes on to say, "It is with and for open-minded people. Anyone who thinks they know everything and thinks they know what is possible and impossible is self-deluded. Hold up. Everybody, we learn more and more. Every day we learn more and more." Well, yeah, I do believe that. I don't think that you can fully understand everything. When people put things in a bottle like that, or put things in a when they try to contain everything into a little bit of space, and they say things like everything, you know what I mean? That's kind of diluted too, you know what I mean? There's a ton of information that's out there if people are willing to do the research and find it out. You don't have to know everything. You just have to know what makes sense to you. Okay? When you sit around in a world that is full of nonsense and you're trying to comprehend what's just going on around you in everyday life, that's when you have to start looking at things, and you have to start digging and finding out for yourself what the truth really is. The world's been full of deception for a very long time. Okay, if you want to be deceived, then continue the path you're living in. You know what I mean? But there is a better way, and it doesn't pertain to being deceived. It has to do with learning. It also has to be a part of discernment too. When you know that something that you're being taught is just not right, then it's time for you to say enough is enough. I know that that's not real. I know that that's not true. There has to be something that's better and something that's real. You know what I mean? Don't fall for, anybody. If you believe in everything, you're going to fall for everything. You know what I mean? If somebody tells you something and you believe it 100%, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to get deceived. And that's one thing that I really do believe. So yeah, I don't think either that anybody can truly say that they know everything. You know what I mean? But like you said there about being open-minded, that is the big deal. You have to be open-minded. Honesty, open-mindedness, and willing. You have to be willing to be honest to yourself. You have to be willing to be open-minded to new ideas and new beliefs. And all 3 of these elements, that what they produce is change. And I think that's what a lot of people in this world have a a problem with. They really do not want to change. They want things to be exactly the way they want it to be. And if there's any kind of change, it disrupts their idea of what the world should be. So if you're not willing to change, and when I say change, I'm saying change according to the circumstances and the situations, because what is going on today isn't the same as what was going on yesterday or the day before. So when new things pop up, you have to adapt. You have to change. You can't stay in the same spot. You know, a lot of people think that they can, but that's not true. You have to move forward or you're going to go back. There's no such thing as being in the same place. Okay, you cannot sit still. People who sit still automatically go back. They go back. Then they need to go forward, and to do that, you have to learn how to change. You have to learn how to adapt. That's my view on the whole situation with what you're speaking about. I don't know if that is the kind of thing that you agree with or not, Raj. But I mean, that's my personal belief on it, you know. Um, and it's about learning more and more. Every day is a learning experience, and that's the way you have to live your life. And also remember, man, you know, um, you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. You know, um, yesterday was the past. Tomorrow is hasn't happened. Today is a present. Present is a gift. So treat every day like it's a gift, and you'll do perfectly fine. You know. But always remember, learning is very, very important. Go back through, look at this stuff, and you know, use discernment, of course. But you know, find out what your own truth is. Don't worry about what mine is or what anybody else's is. So, like I said, I appreciate you coming on and giving your feedback. That's really appreciated. Just remember to keep on coming in and everything, and I do appreciate that. So let me see here. It's cool that you uh, did get involved in chat. There ain't too many people that do actually come in and talk, so I do appreciate that. So I have 2 viewers on Beamstream, 3 viewers on Kick, or not Kick, but Rumble, and I never know how many are on X, but at least I know the audio is working. I believe Dragus put freaking coffee in on D Live, but I'm not quite sure. He that could have been last night when I did my stream on there, and that's about it. I got 2 viewers on Kick, so I appreciate what you said, Raj. Now, when it comes to what I was talking about on the uh, on the topic that I was reading, I uh, I was talking about the cosmic energy existing in perfect tension between opposing forces and duality and the difference, you know, the opposing forces of life and death. Um, Now, the opposing forces implies dualism, which is life versus death. I should have really been careful about that because for me, like I just explained with life and death, I don't see them as opposing forces. I believe life and death accompanies one another, you know, with they're just 2 things that actually happen in your life, and they're not actually in conflict with one another. You live and then you die. So that was something that I really should have caught whenever I wrote that. I put it down there though. And I should have really watched that. Now, another thing too that I want to mention, and I put it in, was about every structure that could be dismantled resided here. Now, this takes me into another area that I want to discuss later on, and it's about historically. When we talk about ancient history and we talk about these ancient civilizations and all of these empires that fell. But later on, I want to get deeper into that because with the Axis Monday, which at one time I wanted to actually call it a nexus, but with the Axis Monday, I've learned that like even those empires that had fallen and turned to dust weren't gone. They didn't just disappear. What happened was is the energy from that was actually transported back into the Axis Monday, and it was transformed into something else. Now this gets into a discussion where it intertwines with the whole concept of well, good and evil, basically. I guess you take a look at evil empires that were around that fell, like say the Nazis, okay, and the horrible things that they did, and the fall of them, okay, and the result of it. Okay, now when you take a look at the horrible things they did and you focus on that, then that's what you're going to see. But if you go on after that and you look at the result, what was the result of that after World War II? They had it was the reconstruction of Europe. Then out of that reconstruction, a whole new political view began to change. So you have, out of an old tyrannical, evil empire, a new empire was born. You know what I mean? A new system was born, basically. And what happened was is that information was returned back to the Axis Monday, and it created a new system out of that. So it kind of gets pretty interesting, and that's some of the stuff that I do want to be discussing here later on whenever I get further into this topic. But I just figured I would bring that up because this relates not only to what I've already discussed, but it's already it discusses things about the past and like old civilizations, old cultures, old belief systems, everything. How it's all pretty much repurposed through the Axis Monday. And like I said, I was going to call this a nexus, to be honest with you. A lot of people have called them different, more than one nexus. But me personally, I feel that it's actually one, where information is transmitted to it and from it. And this information is what creates reality. It connects us, our brains. It connects us, period, to this nexus, the way we, everything. It also connects the cosmos, the universe. It's all connected to this primal, or not primal, but to this nexus, which is the Axis Monday. And but that's some stuff that I do want to go through and talk about. This whole universe, and like in the beginning, how I was talking about the universe hadn't found its rhythm. You know what I mean? This implies that the Axis Mundi actually has its own consciousness. It's its own being. You know, um, I don't I don't feel like it's actually a deity that enforces its will on the cosmos or on a human being or any animals or anything like that. But it does have a consciousness, and it's able to figure out what needs to be done. You know what I mean? So um, these are the kind of things that I'm wanting to bring up when it comes to this topic. And you know, if you guys are interested in it, then feel free to stick around and listen to it. And also, when I was talking about the primordial uh, void, I was talking about the putrescence of the water and the mud. Now, for me, represents uh, that represents this primordial ooze, which would be what a lot of belief systems would call the underworld. Okay, and a lot of the beliefs of primordial ooze was that it had a putrescence odor to it, like that of sulfur, or the smell of stagnated dirt and mud that freaking is needed so that plants would grow out of it. You know what I mean? If you've ever been around fertilizer, whenever it's been put down for a garden or something, it has that stench to it. That's kind of what I get out of that whole putrefaction or putrefaction. I have a hard time saying that word, putrefaction. It's a putrescent kind of stale, stagnant water, and from this water and this mud that's being stirred by these winds, um, reality is formed. And that's done because the roots of the Axis Mundi, which is represented usually in the world tree, grows out of this mud. Okay, and it grows out of this mud and it ascends upward. And this would be the underworld to some belief systems. This is also the primordial void where in the beginning there was nothing. Okay, it was just an empty void, no time, no nothing. Then the cardinal winds is another thing that I noticed was a part of it all. You know, you had the winds of the north, east, south, and west, and they began to to cause a stir within this primordial water, and from that is where the mud began to form. And after that, um, that's when the roots took place within the Axis Mundi, and it began to grow up out of the underworld into um, our world, our realm. It, it was in the underworld, which is its own realm, and then it grew up into our realm, and it started branching out. So it's branching out, and that is where I come up with the whole thing of these branches that are going everywhere. You know, the cosmic weave. It's actually a weave that's growing upward, and it's ascending up into the heavenly divine. And that's represented by the world tree most of the time. So this is where things. This is where all of this is basically going to eventually be coming into play. And I also talk about things that pertain to science and philosophy when it comes to this stuff. So, like I said, I hope you guys stick around, and I really do enjoy this topic. It's something that I've mentioned in the last episode. It's the most popular, unpopular subject there is. Like if you watch Ancient Aliens, for example, they'll always mention bits and pieces of what I'm talking about right now, but they never like do an entire series concerning just those little bits and pieces, you know. Um, and I really don't know why they do that, but I know that's something that I picked up on from watching that, and the other series that does it too as well. Um, it's really interesting when it comes to that. So um, let me see. I'll check again, see if we have any kind of. Yeah, we got 4 people on Rumble. Thank you guys for being here. 1 viewer on Twitch. That's probably me. 2 on Kick. And we have a comment. And it says, "Hey, mate, I strongly." Oh, God. It says, "I'm strongly attracted to your streams. Let's connect some other time on Discord." So, yeah, that one is not a message. Do not listen to anybody on chat who says stuff like that. That is just not suggested. So, let me see. I have been on for an hour and 7 minutes. I did want to kind of go through a lot of this, but the thing of it is it's pretty broad. So if you guys want to check any of this out, just after the stream, go back through, hit rewind, stop the video, listen to it. If you guys want a copy of the notes that I'm taking down, I have been starting a blog on Medium where I will be posting my story. I'll put it on there and I'll share it on. I've been sharing it on Skype as well as Element, and I'm also putting it on. I think I'm putting it on Minds.com. I'm not sure, but I think I have. Other than that, I've been doing it. Well, I don't know if I've been doing it on Discord either. I believe I did put it on Discord as well. So if you guys want to know how to contact me, I have all my information in the description on YouTube, where you can get in touch with me on Discord and on Skype, which is going to be not valid next month because they're discontinuing Skype for anybody who's on there, just so you know. But I am going to be on Element as well as Discord. I'm on X too. You guys can contact me on X as Roger Hanson at ROGLOL1973. On Rumble as well as Roger Hanson, and that's at Infamous OG1973. All lowercase. Besides that, I am on DLive as Roger_Hanson. And with Twitch, I am Infamous 1969. Let me see. I believe, I'm Roger_Hanson on Kick as well. And you can find me on YouTube with The Wonderful World of Weirdness, which is at The Wonderful World of Weirdness. Besides that, I do have another channel that I call Strange Stories. That one is my other YouTube channel that I had before I started getting involved with The Wonderful World of Weirdness and helping out on this channel. So after giving my long plug, I was able to pull up freaking an hour and 10 minutes, which compensates for the 15 minutes that it took to get my live stream up and going. Um, I'm so tired of talking that I really don't want to drag this out. Now, later on tonight, if you guys are interested, stick around because Summer Todd should be on for Summer Todd's mystery show. So stick around and catch that. That should be on here in a little bit. It'll be Summer and Austin, me, and Mark Edward. He said that he should be showing up. So with that, I am going to say thank you for making your comments in chat, Raj Ram. It's greatly appreciated, and I'd like to thank everybody who watched for stopping in and checking it out. And I will put the ending, the outro to this video on, and we will be done with it. So let me see what I can do here. Have a good day, guys.